Hey
Hi.
Brenda,
Hey, how you doing?
good. How are you?
Good. Good.
I'm uh I'm Jen Demings. I'm a newbie.
Hey, Jen, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I used to actually service your account for a little bit with Larico, Jen Demings from Larico, and I don't know if it rings a bell, but
Yeah. Was that
it,
my supplies?
yeah, your office
Supplies.
supplies.
Oh, what
Yeah,
a small world.
yeah, and that was, I guess it was about 7 years ago. So nice to
Yeah.
see you again.
Nice to see you. So what made you get into real estate?
So I was with Xerox Corporation for outside sales for quite some time, and I did go to Larico.
Mhm.
And just recently, my last occupation was media consultant with the Yellow Pages Group. So I
Okay.
handled a lot of like the larger accounts in Halifax and Nova Scotia regarding their advertising and online presence. So I was there and then decided that I'm ready with all the tools that I've built along the way to do something that I actually want to do and want to
Good.
do something for myself
Mhm.
instead of the corporations. And to help others within my community. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, you become your own corporation. Like I'm Brenda
Yeah.
Cable Limited. That's the
Awesome.
name of my company. So new agents you don't want to incorporate. Um, they didn't allow it at first. That was really
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
All right, we have Rachel. Hey, Rachel.
Hi.
I know who you are.
Hey, Rachel.
Hi, Jen.
Hey. And Sinra?
Hi, Sina.
Sina. Like I seen a
Tina?
girl.
It's
Yeah.
Tina? Okay. All right. Hi, how are you?
Thank you. How are you doing?
And we've got Amanda and Kim on there. Oh, hey, Kim. How you doing? Hey, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. I know the guy on my team is coming on this call too. So how long has everybody, I was just talking to Jen about, who's new to the business? Rachel, I know you are. Okay. Okay. Kim is.
I am as well.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, okay. I won't ask all kinds of questions like I did Kim. I was just, or sorry, Jen. I was just curious. So I'm just waiting. Brishen is supposed to be on this call. So I just need to ring his bell. Oop. So Bree's listened to me talk lots of times. So, well, this is exciting. Now you guys want to build a real estate career. Yay. Oh, there's my Bree. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so you want to build a real estate business, and real estate is a business. Like, you want to define what you do and then build on that. Right. So think of yourself as this little mini one-person company. Write yourself, write a nice mission statement, write something that is your driving force of what you bring to the table. Okay, so today we're not going to talk about that. Today we're going to talk about building your business. So when I first got in the business, anywhere I go, I would grab a business card, right? And Gary Keller has this thing where he's always out of business cards. And the reason he's always out of business cards is because he wants the other person's card. He wants to initiate the contact. When I got into real estate 2008, and I went to Keller Williams in 2010, would have been 2011 that I did Ignite. It completely, not changed my business, but let me focus on a whole side of it, that because nobody had taught me. There was no training at the company I was with. So this is a really, really good course. Just commit to the things that we're gonna, to do each day, and you will build your business. So today's expectations, we're going to talk about the database, your database, which some people refer to as the data bank. And number 2 is lead generate for business, making phone calls. But I also made a note there, text, email, and messenger. And they have to respond. You know what I mean? It's not a conversation until they respond. So if I say to Bree, how many calls did you make today? And he saw, oh, Brenda, I text 10 people. How many answered you back? Nobody. Then you didn't have any conversations today. That's what's key in it. Allison on our team is phenomenal on Instagram and messaging. And almost all her business comes from that, plus people she knows and referrals. So I'm going to kind of step just a little bit outside the database here a couple of times today. And as Bree knows, quite often I squirrel and then I come back. So we want to add new contacts. So when I was doing this, it was add 5 contacts a day. But I think this is, this says 5, doesn't it? Things have changed since I did this. Are you guys making your calls, your texting? Are you doing your daily actions? When I did it, it was all calls. You had to do calls. So who's making calls?
I was gonna say, I find now, like with my, like, you know, kind of sphere and stuff, like if I called them, like there's a few people I could call, but really like, they'd be like, why are you calling me? So like, I find I do way more messaging and like Instagram messaging and texting and stuff, which does get me more responses because they will talk to me for longer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Rachel. And like I said, Allison and our team has perfected that. And I think that to expand on the database, you want people in your database, but there are people that use Facebook as a database too. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, but you definitely want your contacts all in command. The Facebook thing is kind of an extra, but yeah, so Allison says the same thing. If I called one of my friends, they'd go, what's wrong? Right? Because me at my age, nobody would be surprised, but you guys, like I said, as long as they respond, it's a conversation. Okay. So that's what you want to have. So scripts. So they talk about scripts right away. And, you know, I'm not one and never have been one for, hey, it's Brenda Kay here. You know, anybody's buying or selling. That's just not my style. Right. I'm a very empathetic person. So what I do is I'll do a script up and all of us as a team will use it as a base. There's some really good ones here, but I just wanted to, and it sounds terrible this way, but COVID has generated a lot of reasons to pick up the phone to people, whether good, bad, sick, you know what I mean? So what we have been doing, and what's a good one is, you know, I call it the COVID script. You can write your own, whatever you're comfortable saying, you know, so it's, hey, how are yours? I've already taught, you know, said, hey, it's Brenda Kay. I'm just reaching out to everyone in my world to see how you're doing. My heavens, how did you make out in the last year? Then they talk. And then it was, did COVID have a really big impact on your family and your work? They answer and you empathize with it. And then you say to them, anyone thinking of selling right now would be, if they're an empty nester, it's a perfect opportunity. If they're looking to buy and sell, they're basically going to be balanced. So it's no further ahead, but this is the market for empty nesters. So if you have any empty nesters in your family, or you could say, is there anyone in your world I can help? You know, do you have any elderly family members that might be thinking of moving and take advantage of this market? So there's all kinds of ways you can spin it, right? The other thing you can do is something as simple as, you know, and making sure that you've always got the numbers in your head and you're watching the stats. So I spoke to a couple people yesterday and, you know, I said to them, I said, just because everyone's going, how's the market, right? So the first thing you respond is, well, are you buying or selling? Because it's a completely different answer, isn't it? If you're buying or selling in this market. But so when I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I was not on the phone because I take every opportunity that I can, not in people's face, but if I run into somebody, real estate always comes up, right? So I said to him, I said, it's nuts. I said, in the last 7 days, there were 147 homes sold in the Halifax Dartmouth area, and the average over list price was $44,375. So there's all kinds of ways to make phone calls, you know, during this time. Hey, it's just Brenda Kay reaching out to you. This is an absolutely crazy market. You know, are you interested in any of the market stats? I can send them over to you. Have a little conversation with them. You know, and you can do market stats in Canva in 2 minutes. You know, they don't take long. And then, like I said, you know, explain the market all the time. And when you're out, like I said, collect the cards. And when you put them in your command, make a note of where you met them, what you chatted about. Like I can go back 8 or 9 years. I have one guy on Samuel Daniel Drive. I call him every couple of years because I know he's never going to sell. So he's not an active, you know, he's one of my, I can pick up the phone and I can say to him, hey, it's Brenda Kay. We met at the open house over on blah, blah street. I can't remember the name of the street, Romkey. We met at an open house in Romkey in 2009. How you doing? He's floored. It was 2009. He's been hearing from me every couple of years. Yeah. So, and like I said, talk about the market. If they're selling, and this is the other thing that I really like to do is you can go online and find all kinds of information. And so when you so look at that, I just forgot what I was going to say. Hey, that's age. Okay, let me do this again. Yes, just explain. That's what I wrote there. Just explaining the market. And then if they're selling, again, tell them give them the information on what the selling market's like. So just start up conversations. I had people would say to me sometimes, how did you build your business? And I really didn't know. And I, you know, but I'm the type of person I would say, well, if you give me a thread, I'll make you a quilt. Right. And that's kind of how I built my business. This was one of the biggest steps in building my business. Yeah. So today with Facebook, now don't forget, if you're talking to anybody, and I honestly, I don't know if this is a rule or not. You know, you can ask the brokers, but when I have a conversation with somebody, I always say them, would you mind if I put you in my database and we could stay in touch? Some say yes, and some say no. So I don't know if it's a rule, but I do practice that. There's some really good scripts here, guys. You know, like remind them that you're in real estate. How long has, we'll start with Rachel. How long have you been in real estate, Rachel?
I think it's been like 8 weeks, maybe.
Okay. All right. Just a minute now. Sinna, is it Sinna? How long have you been in?
It's Cena. You can remember
Yeah.
Cena Girl or John Cena, the wrestler.
Yeah.
I am technically not an agent yet. I'm Phil Evans is my fiance, and I'm just waiting. I finished the exam. I'm just waiting for my birth certificate to apply for my license. So,
Oh, congratulations.
Licensing and waiting.
He's one of my favorite realtors.
Ah,
Yeah, he's top notch. Phil has been with our company for a few years now. So has anybody been in more than 6 months here? Oh, great. Oh, yeah.
Just got my license this morning,
Who's that?
Sonia.
Oh, saw you did. Congratulations.
Right, this was like this call.
Yeah. We have another girl coming on my team. Building business in real estate, you'll get used to me. I go right off track. If there's actual experience I can share with you. When I get into real estate, you know, I didn't have any business. I had been in the meat business for 31 years. So I would treat, in the meat business, I worked in the office or on the road, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. That's the hours I worked. So when I got into real estate, those were my hours. I worked 9 to 5. And then if I got appointments or buyers, I'd be showing them at night or I'd be showing them on the weekend. But I always looked at it, and Bree knows this, don't you, Bree? There's 8 hours in the workday. Those 8 hours are to be building your business. And if you want to build a really successful real estate business and you see, you see someone that does the amount of business, say that I do, or the team that I have, or something that I'm doing, there were several years of 12 and 14-hour days to get that kind of business. So I'm not going to kid you, the commitment is really, really strong. I mean, I still am a bit of a workaholic. I'm trying to simmer down a bit, but it does take a lot of work. The rewards are great, right? But like I said, it takes work. Yeah. I had one agent, I always tell this story. We got our licenses at the same time. And he called me one afternoon and he said, "Oh, Brenda, this was years ago. Oh, this business is so hard. I think I'm going to quit. I can't do it." It was 2:00 in the afternoon when he called me. And I, so you're trying, I said, "Well, Ed, tell me what's going on. What do you think?" And oh, well, and he, and then I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, why don't you flip up this on your computer?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm not home." I said, "Where you at?" "Well, I'm walking the dog." I said, "Ed, when you worked with Ford, would you leave at 2:00 in the afternoon and walk your dog?" No. And real estate's the same way. Yeah, so it is exciting. So yeah, so all kinds of scripts there. And then I gave you one. Okay. Handwritten notes. I love handwritten notes. And I had a little, and you don't have, I don't even know if I have any left here. But I had these little notepads made up. It didn't cost me much money. It had my picture on the corner. And it would be like, say I met a couple people the day before and I put them in I said, "Can I put you in my database?" Yep. Now you've got all their information. And literally it can be a note card from the dollar store. And you just write in it and say, "Hey, Mark, it was great meeting you yesterday. Hope we cross paths again." You can say whatever you want, right? Back in the day when I was doing this, well, there was no Instagram. There was no TikTok. Let me see. There wasn't much of anything. Facebook was kind of coming into the real estate world there, right? So handwritten notes were a big part of my business. The other thing with handwritten notes is I used to do them when I did open houses, and I mean, they're still doing open houses right now. We haven't done any long time, have we, Bree? Open house? No, we haven't. That's the nice thing about COVID, right? I spent the first 9-10 years in this business working every single Sunday. And then with COVID, it's like, oh, can't do open houses anymore. It's not safe, right? And with this market, it doesn't last. So if you do go and do open houses, the next day, like if you've taken the person's name and number, and I know you're going to get a course on open house, I'm not going to go into that, send them a little note and say, "Hey, it was great meeting you yesterday. I'm going to keep in touch." Drop it in the mail. People, especially right now, they really, really like the notes. They really do. If you want to do something with a little bit of a budget, then you can have really cheap on Vista Print. This is just a picture of the team. It's got my info on the back. And inside, it's got a little, what does it say? "The referral of your friends and family is the greatest compliment you can give me. Thank you for your trust in me." So this is more of a formal thank you card of mine, but you can do a little handwritten note in there and pop it in the mail to them. Yeah. We got to get some new ones, Bree, with your picture.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I used to work every weekend because I came from the hospitality industry. So I miss open houses because I thought they were fun, because now I don't do anything really on the weekends. So I miss having an open house.
Open houses, I did enjoy them too. But then like you get to the point, you're like, okay, let me see, it's on Sunday for 10 years. No, all right. Get your head in the game. So what this is saying is you guys have committed to putting 200 new contacts in there, right? So who, are they saying 5 or 10 a day?
I'm pretty sure it's 10.
10?
Not
Okay.
100%, but I'm pretty sure I read. I'm only a few days new, but I'm pretty sure I saw a 10.
Okay, all right. Did anybody get 10 in yesterday? No? it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. One of the things you can do to get your 10 in, go to your Facebook and messenger people in there that you know, and just say like, I'm super excited. I'm in real estate now. Can I add you to my database? You know, I always say to people, oh, don't worry, I won't stalk you, because that's what they worry about a lot of times. So there's, you know, it's not necessarily, back in the day with me, it was people that I would meet, or I would, like, it was a little bit harder because you had to find, you know, 10 people. Yeah.
Question. So because I'm new, what I did on my personal Facebook page is I just put out that I'm currently partnering with KW, a little bit of introduction. And then at the end, I asked for the business, because I do have, those would be my ones that I guess are my platform of where I'd start, because they're the friends, the family, the referrals. So I got a lot of likes and comments, which was awesome. Good way to start. I will be doing my picture and launching my business page and so on. But when you speak of adding contacts, obviously getting their permission. So how would we go? So inside my head, I thought, great place to start. So I was thinking about opening up, you know, one of the tabs, I guess, naming it something, Facebook friends, and then
Absolutely.
can I just add them, or would you suggest to go from there and message each one and get their okay? Or can you help us understand that process?
Okay, so this is all about being top of mind. So when a person goes to a party on a Saturday night and somebody says, I think I'm selling my house, who's top of mind? So the scientifically, the brain can only retain 3 things. So if I was to say to you guys, name toothpaste flavors or toothpaste companies, you probably only come up with 3, right? So if you sent a mass email out to everybody, I would say, and I say this all the time, an average agent would send that out. A follow-up on that is what a top agent would do, or want to work hard and be a top agent. So what I would do now, Jen, is everybody you sent that to, I would send them a little note and just, or text them or whatever and say, listen, I'm super, you know, happy to start here. You know, are you interested in any of the market stats? Really crazy out there, you know. And is it okay if I add you to my database? No, I'm not going to send a lot through, maybe a newsletter once a month. And that's it. A lot of times people think, oh, she's going to email me every day, right? So the next step to that is you take that person and you've now got them in command, right? So you're going to move them in from Facebook to command after they say yes. And then when you're into command, you're going to put them on a smart plan.
Okay.
All right. The biggest thing that agents do that they miss out on business is they become Susie set and forget.
Yeah.
So Susie works really hard. She puts 200 people in her database, and that's it. She set them up on a smart plan. She never touched them again.
Yeah.
And then she sees their house go up for sale, John Smith at 123 Realty, and wonders, hey, why didn't I get that listing? She's in my database. So set and forget. There's so many open houses that I used to do. And I'd say to them, you know, are you currently working with a realtor? And they'd say to me, well, I got this realtor that's been sending me listings for like, probably like 2 years. Oh, really? You're not in an agency relationship with them? No. Oop, scoop. Right?
Done.
They don't, because that person has not made any personal contact at all. They just set them up and figured. And when you start getting people, like say you're in your Facebook and you can say to them, hey, you know what? And this is another great reason to call. Now, I don't know if the neighborhoods are fixed on command yet. So in command, you could do a live neighborhood setup for people. So they would automatically in real time get the updates on the market, right? So you can say you're talking to someone, maybe they're thinking of selling in 2-3 years, or you just want to be top of mind, or they really like to talk real estate. And you say to them, you know, listen, this market's really crazy. If you want, I can set you up in the system and you can just follow it for your own knowledge. Boom, they're in Paragon. Now, they're not buying right now, but they are in Paragon. And then what I would do in a few 2 to 3 weeks is I'd call them and say, isn't that nuts? And I'd have a little conversation with them and say, do you want me to keep going? Or do you want to keep, do you want to keep receiving them? Yep.
So the lead, sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Brenda, can you say boom, they're in Paragon? How do you put them in Paragon? I know about adding people to Command and Smart Plans. but
Yeah.
How do you put them in Paragon?
In Paragon, it's under contacts.
Okay.
You can add a new contact and you can put a search parameter in.
Okay.
Yep. And if Erin is proficient in, well, Erin's proficient in everything she touches. So, but if you, yeah, she is, I know, she's amazing. Yeah, if you want, there's also trainings on Paragon. If you go on, there's trainings there.
Okay. Is this setting up, like I did the market stats training? Is
Mhm.
that what you're talking about? Setting up like a market stats, like drawing a area around their neighborhood?
Yeah, you can, yeah, exactly. You can do that on Paragon, or you can see, Command has this great feature about these live neighborhoods, but it's not working in Canada yet, or it wasn't, to my knowledge. So that's a good question to ask Erin about Command neighborhoods.
Okay.
So do
thank
the
you.
leads that you get on coming in from like your Facebook ads and stuff, do they count towards like the 10 per day that you're adding? Like,
I can't.
Chelsea.
Oh, hey, Chelsea, sorry. Absolutely. Like if you made contact with somebody and you've had a conversation over Facebook, that's lead generation.
no, I just mean the ones like that your actual leads coming in, like they count from Facebook ads.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
You know what? Facebook ads, you really got to kind of know what you're doing. I don't do too many of them except listings. I'll do in the Command. This is what I love about Command is they have the landing pages. And, if you don't have any listings, I used to, and again, I'm not giving anybody advice. I definitely am not. Just a couple little tricks. I used to go to the top agent in the company I started with, and I go, Wendy, can I put your listing on? Can I do a landing page for your listing? And of course, she didn't mind because it's her listing. That's how I got my first buyer, was putting out. Actually, I get it on Kijiji, and nobody was using Kijiji then. Yeah. So I would start, and a lot, Chelsea, it's sometimes I have a lot of branding out there for a lot of years. So I'll get people through Facebook, but not because I've gone right
Yeah, like
to-
I'm already doing all that. I'm already using people's listings. I'm already doing like I bug my sphere probably a little too much. So I've kind of exacerbated them. So like now I'm trying to get other leads in. So I don't know how to add 10 more people into my database without using those type of leads.
So you've gone through your Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Are you on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Okay. Go through your LinkedIn contacts
Okay.
and see what you can do in there. My LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn because it is a business base. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say something.
I'm just excited about LinkedIn too.
Yeah.
And I actually added you on LinkedIn, Brenda.
Yes. Yes. I saw that.
Information.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have over 4,000 people in my LinkedIn,
Wow.
and I would sit there for an hour and I would put in Executives Halifax, Executive Toronto, Oil Company Nova Scotia, anything where people that I thought would have the best. And then, but at that time, I didn't message them. But what I did is the more you put out on LinkedIn, and now you've got these people that you've connected with, that's the brand awareness. So you want like every week you want something out on your LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is another good one. When you say that you've kind of exasperated your sphere, so how many touches, and what were the touches that you've had your license how long?
This time around a month and a half.
Yeah.
But I've already been in touch with my entire sphere like 3 or 4 times.
Okay, in a month and a half?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think if you start to give them information and come from a little bit more from contribution. And then they would possibly pass your name around, you know? So a lot of times when I'm calling people, I'm giving them things. Like this morning, I did a PowerPoint on 7 tips for selling your home, right? So if I was going to chat with anybody today, I would say, hey, I put together this great PowerPoint. You know, anyone that's selling, I'll send it over to you. And how many do you have in your command right now, Chelsea?
I think I'm up to like 400 now.
Really?
Yeah.
If you put the right plan in place and make it, you know, you're giving them information instead of just touching, and I'm not saying you are, but the more information you give them. So go into your command, look at the smart plans. I don't know smart plans.
Yeah,
because
I've really made an effort to put them like all, especially the Facebook people, on a smart plan.
Yeah, yeah. And you're interacting with them on Facebook, right?
All of my sphere, yes.
Yeah. There is KW has a gentleman named Kirby. I can't remember Kirby's last name.
Chan.
Yeah, Kirby Chan. Brishen has done some of his course, and any courses like that, I definitely. Oh, there you are, Brishen. You moved. Brishen, what do you think about the Kirby Chan? What have you learned? Do you feel it's worth it?
Yeah, Kirby Chan is worth it. He's very knowledgeable about everything to do with Facebook. And like years ago, I thought Facebook was dead. It was for the older people. I moved on to Instagram. So I lost a lot of knowledge on Facebook. So Kirby Chan is kind of bringing me back into the useful purposes for me to start marketing towards Kirby about specific things. He'll coach you on like what to really post, how to really interact. Yeah. And basically, like, I used to keep my friends list very little, being like, well, I don't want to have thousands of people on my Facebook, because when I was a teenager, I was a bit more afraid of the internet, because we're taught to fear the internet, fear the people, fear strangers. But he said to basically max out your friends list, because it's more exposure for you. And then you can send people more things. So it was a lot of things I didn't know Facebook could do for me.
Yeah, it's with 400 people, Chelsea, you should be able to do some really good business. And they're going to get used to seeing something from you, you know, every month. You know, take advantage of the MailChimp there. There is another course you can take. It's not KW, but we have one of the girls in our team found it and she loves it. And it's called Community Influencer. Because we have so many platforms now to work with. You know, you want to pick one and say, well, I'm going to be really good at that one. For instance, Allison's top pick is Instagram. She gets so much business off Instagram. People are seeing her. She follows a lot of people. She has hashtag real estate pin to ding. And so she's constantly seeing all these things. She's also putting a lot of personal pictures out there. So, yep.
I think it also depends, again, not new to the business, new to the industry, obviously, as who you're targeting as well, right? Like where you're targeting the older people. I think everybody, I don't know anybody that doesn't enjoy a handwritten note.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. And yeah, so depending who you're focusing on, who you want to target to, right?
Yeah. And that's a good point. Like that's information, right? So my niche market is empty nesters.
Mm-hmm.
I am an empty nester. And I definitely relate to them. So you'll see a lot of my posts. You know, I have the Facebook Empty Nesters Halifax. That's mine. So there's a lot of stuff gets posted on there. Right now, you want to add whoever you can to your database. Yeah, but then what information you're gonna put out and what you're gonna put on your Facebook and what you're gonna put on your Instagram. Does anybody have Canva?
Yeah.
Canva. Canva is one of the best tools you can have. They even give you templates that you can send out. And another good one that Allison likes is called Ripple. And I think it's RIPL. Isn't it, Brichen? I think that's what it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Like one
referring
of the-
to Allison Godso?
No, Allison Hassan on my team. Yeah, and like I said, she puts a lot of personal things up there too. So this is when I took this course, it was like, pick up the phone, go talk to people. This is a story that Kelly Brown loves to tell and make fun of me about. So years ago, I thought, well, I'm just gonna go to Micmac Mall and I'm gonna go in every store and say, hey, how you doing? I'm Brenda, here's my business card. Well, halfway through the mall, I got escorted out by security. Apparently you're not allowed to do that in Micmac Mall, but I got half the stores done, right? You know, pick a business in your neighborhood, drop in, do some little pamphlets of some sort, anybody you know that you can build the business. But everybody I run into, I ask for a business card. I always do. Even when I take my car in to get serviced, the guy that services my car at Acura, he's in my database. If somebody has a business card, I'll take it. This is the one I did the other day. Miss Frankie, who she's right beside me in Dogs Chatting. So the guy, Joe, is new and he gave me his card. Well, Joe's already in command. And I've already looked for Joe on Facebook. Right? So that's getting them, there's all, yeah. And then, like I said, your hairdresser, the girl from the gym, you know, your dentist, like look them up on Facebook, then start with the Facebook and go back towards your database. But if you put them in your database, you need to pick up the phone or text or email. What I had going with the team, I think it was a couple months ago, wasn't it, Bree? That I said, okay, I'm going to email past clients, 25 past clients a day. So I did up an email script, but I did each one separately, right? And I said on it, like, hey, Paul and Kim, how's it going? I bet the girls are getting big. You know, what a crazy time. Got any questions about the market? Anything I can do? And I did 25 a day. So a lot of it is when you put them in your command, don't set and forget them because you won't build your business.
Linda, if I could just add something to what I did when I started 3 months ago is I'd been self-employed before, so I had file folders full of business cards or contact slips from trade shows, etc. And I went through them and added them into command. But when I started on Facebook, I created a business Facebook page.
Yep.
And it took some time, but within the first week and a half, I had about 200 people. Well, what I did was I set up the business page and then I invited the majority. I didn't invite everyone. I went through individually and I invited everyone, the majority of them, to like my business page. And when they liked it, I went into the settings every day at a certain time or just whenever I thought of it, saw that so many people or individually they had liked it. And then what I did was I sent them a personal message and said, hey, Susan, you know, thanks so much for liking my business page. And if I didn't have their contact information already, I said, I'm updating my database. Do you have an email address? And I'd say 99.9% of those 250 people came back and gave me their email address.
That is an
That expands.
excellent idea. And Jen, so Kim did exactly what I was saying. You did a mass email, right? Not a lot of response. Kim did a personal Facebook or Messenger, whichever way you do it. So to connect with them directly, that's an excellent idea.
And I
Thanks,
didn't
Kat.
ask for all of the permission for, at the beginning when I was going through literally 3 or 4 file folders of napkins written on or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't ask their permission, but they're in my, now in command, and I touch them seasonally. Like over the last few months, I've touched them maybe 3 times with Valentine's,
Yeah.
Happy Easter, Happy St. Patrick's Day. And I get responses back. Sometimes I don't, but oftentimes I'll get at least a handful of people that will email me back and say, Happy Easter to you, or
Yeah.
thanks for the tip. But none of them, maybe some of them have subscribed. I haven't gone in to check that, but that's
Yeah.
okay too. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Oh, I thought someone else was gonna say something. That is excellent. I had my Rolodex. And I actually did the same thing. So every single person that had, you've come from a previous job. So has anyone come from a sales position or okay. I was gonna say that's out on the road a lot. Okay, all right. And everybody else worked like the 9 to 5, whether retail or office? Yeah. Okay. So, and the only reason I bring this up is there, when you sit down, like, so if you go to your desk in the morning, and I used to Google things like, how to meet more people, or how do I build this, or how do I build that? But like every day I would be at my desk at a certain time, and these were my hours, and they stayed with it that whole time. Yeah. Yeah.
What would you suggest for people who move into a province? Like I came from Ontario within the last year, so the majority of my contacts are out of province. So would you still enter them into your command and just start building your local contacts?
I would, because those people may have family or friends that are moving down here. Right? I know it's super tough to start a new province, not because I've done it, but Alexandra, who was with me, left. They had to move to Ottawa. And she, you know what I'll do, Amanda, is I'll ask Alex some of the things that she did, because Alex, things to do. When she went to Ottawa, she knew nobody.
Mhm.
And she ended up being the top rookie agent in the city, over, not just in in her company, but all the companies. So, jump on some websites, like there's military websites,
Mhm.
go on them, put some information on them, right? Sometimes the information I love to give information to people. Yeah. And then you can put it on your website. I'll ask her, Amanda.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, what she did. And if you want to Google her, her name is Alexandra Walker. And she's actually now the productivity coach in their office, plus doing her own business. Right?
That's great.
So, yeah. So if you, and I'll just let her know by text that, I should probably do that now, because then I'll go, well, forget. I'll just text her and say, that you may reach out to her.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Sports activities that your kids are in, perfect place to get names. Perfect place. Anything to do with the school, perfect place to get names.
We're not allowed to go into the sports anymore, though. We gotta wait outside for them to finish.
Yeah, you're right. Like you can't get as close, but you still can get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Soccer just started. Soccer just started outside.
What's that?
Soccer just started outside. I'm now able to watch soccer games outside just recently.
Oh,
Exactly,
no,
yeah.
soccer's inside.
I'm all about figuring out a way to make it work. So instead of, and that's the change. And Bree is familiar with this, it's a challenge. If you want to build your business, figure it out.
So Amanda, one of the things that I did when I moved to Nova Scotia way back when in 2004, I knew no one, had no family, just me. moved here, I joined a bunch of different networking groups, people that would get together from time to time. And right now, some of it's by Zoom, but a lot of it, they're getting back to face to face. That was a really powerful way for me to get connected to what was important in the community, figuring out who the people were that would either just talk or that actually action things. And you really start to build a strong sphere that way. And the networking groups, everybody's there to do the same thing. They're all trying to grow what they're doing and who they are. So you don't, I feel like it's a little bit more like direct dating. Like everybody knows why they're there. And it just felt really good from a business perspective. Been in sales since I was born. So networking groups is probably the first thing I did when I moved into a new town.
Mhm.
And it felt wonderful. So community connections are great too. I think they're amazing, actually. I find they're a slower burn than a straight up networking group, just because networkers, like I said, know why they're there.
Yeah, Sherry, that's excellent. I did that a lot when I first started. The other thing I would do, and this will come back, guys, I know it's COVID right now, but any event that I could go to. So what I did is I Googled women business, women entrepreneurs, like I would say women entrepreneurs Halifax or in business, you know, years ago, there was a salon on Agricola Street called Fred's. And every Thursday morning, do you remember Fred, Sherry? Yeah. And I used to go to Fred's, and I actually connected with a guy and did business with him. We lived in Shannon Park at the same time in the 60s. And I did business with him. Yeah. There's another fellow that I did connect up with. He was in my, so this is how you're, you know, using your past people. And that's the other thing why I asked about your job, like, where do you work or where did you work? Right? Like get onto those people. And I would call this gentleman, Billy Sheik, probably because he wasn't like actively looking or selling or whatever. It was just kind of touching, you know? So I would call him maybe twice a year. But then 2 years ago, I thought, geez, I haven't called him in a couple of years. I think I'll call him. So I did give him a call. And then I did BombBomb. So does anyone know what BombBomb is? I love BombBomb. I love BombBomb. BombBomb is you can sign up for, I think it's $25 a month. And it is a video, it's Vmail. You can make videos and save them. You can record your screen, my market stats, but you can also, instead of a typed email. So what I did with Billy, when I was talking to him, you know, we chatted a little bit. And then after I hung up, I realized I forgot to ask him for his new cell phone because I had his home phone and I had his old cell phone number. So I jumped onto BombBomb and said, you know, hey, Billy, it's Brenda. I forgot to ask you this. Well, great chatting. Talk to you later. He called me right after that. And he said, my God, Brenda, I love that. That's really personal approach. Oh, actually, you know what? I think in the next year or so, I'm going to want to do investment properties. So I've now sold him $2 million worth of investment properties. Right. So the tools that you know, check into those. There's also something else like BombBomb, and it's free. Yeah. And that way they really, I had one client that, because I would call everyone twice a year. Merry Christmas and Happy Spring. That was my 2 phone calls, right? And I made them personal because I'd say, you know, any plans for Christmas or what are you doing this summer? This was pre-COVID, right? This summer it could be like, hey, what do you know, where are you guys going in the Atlantic Canada this summer? Or what are you doing?
How's your backyard?
How's your backyard? Yeah, exactly. I'll just, yep.
I know Phil spoke very highly of you as well. And
Thank you.
You've mentioned a couple times what you're going to be giving somebody when you're making contact with them. So I know Phil told me that you made up a book, like How to Sell Your Home. So in my eyes, you seem to be providing some very valuable information to your clients. And I think that's really important. Now, we've talked about market stats a couple times. What other kinds of information are you sharing with your clients that's providing value?
Okay, you can go online. I did go online when I first started, and I would type in, you know, buyer traps, home selling tips, pre-approval. And then I would bet, shh, they must be delivering something here. And then I would take that and I wouldn't plagiarize it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I would just read what they've put out and I would think, okay. And I would think about it and say, well, how can I word that? You know, it's a little like there's all kinds of people when you go on, like if you were to say, you know, 9 buyer traps, even mine might come up, right? Any kind of information like that, it's good to have. If you use MailChimp, MailChimp has a landing page. So this is what when I first started, about a year into it, I got what's called the Craig Proctor website. And there's all kinds of real estate websites out there. And so if you want the information, you would have to give me your email, right? I don't always do that. When I was in the throes of build, I didn't do that. I could have set the website to do that, but I didn't. Whoever wanted it, all they had to do was click, and there it is. So if you were to go on brendak.ca,
Okay.
under resources, that's where my stuff is. Now, right now, you have to give me your email to get them, right? But at first, I never did that. I never did it. So all kinds of little things like that. People really like the stats. You know, last night I screenshot on Paragon every day. I look at the numbers, and over on the right-hand side, there's a little, what you call it, summary or whatever. So I took a picture of that, and I can't remember the numbers. Oh, I know, I said, okay. So there were 50 new listings yesterday. There were 73 conditional sales. So we're actually in the minus, right? So we've actually lost that inventory. So I'll put things like that out, and I'll do a little video. There's a really easy video app on your phone. And Bree can attest to this. I am brain dead when it comes to tech. I'm too old. I don't understand it. I am trying though. It's called InShot, INSHOT. So, and I know I'm not reading every page, but honestly, we are going by the pages, because this is what I had written here. You know, the data's, and like I said, put a note in, put that note in, and then you can follow up on them, especially if, you know, like I had a lady that come on my site 2 years ago, Tanya Bennett. I've always kept in touch with her, and she emailed me yesterday and said, hey, we're finally moving back to Nova Scotia. What's a good time to Zoom? Right. And when I went back, when I saw the email, I was like, okay, I remembered the name, but I had to go into my system. I looked it up, and then that's when I saw the notes. Originally from Nova Scotia, has 2 small children, hoping to get back here. Right. So when we Zoom, I'm going to, you know, how did you manage to get back here? Or are you working from home? But so I knew exactly who it was, right? And there's a lot of times, I'm not kidding you, I don't remember. There's things I don't remember 5 minutes after I've said it. So you'll meet so many new people that, so always right. Even on the back of a business card, if I was putting it in my purse, and then about 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, I go into that pocket of my purse and I've got like 5, 6 business cards. I've written on the back where I met them or what we were doing when I met them. And I put that in the notes. And then when you message them, you say, hey, Brenda, or hey, whoever, this is Brenda Kay. It was great talking at Steak and Sign a couple weeks ago. You know, is there any questions you got about real estate right now, or anyone, you know, that needs any information? Just as simple as that. Okay. I'm on page 18, by the way, if anyone wants to follow along. So, and I wrote here, when you're doing your social media, you want to comment on it and Ask them a question that will get an answer, right? And a really good way to do it is do it on Messenger. So say that they're out, I don't do this, but some people like to take picture of their food that they're about to eat. I have no idea why. But you know, if that's someone that you don't even really need to know them nowadays, right? And you can go, if they have not put the restaurant in the comment section, you know, go to their Messenger and say, oh my God, that looked awesome. Where did you get that meal at? Or any other kind of comment you can make that they answer you back. What I was doing is I would do everything in the, what was I going to say? Oh, I would do everything in the comment sections of Facebook. And then through Bree, taking the Kirby Chan, he taught me, go to Messenger and make a personal comment. So they get it. Yeah. But you can still, you can still, I know everybody would, well, maybe you wouldn't remember, but there was a time when at work, if you were on social media, you could lose your job. Remember that? You didn't want to get caught on Facebook in the office, right? Now, that's one of your leading tools for business, Facebook. Yeah. And then, yeah, top of mind. So I always ask, I think that in real estate, empathy is one of the most important traits to have. You know, you identify with your seller, you identify with your builder, or sorry, with your buyer. I'm on page 21. So maximize your database, have nots. So Gary Keller, water. So Gary Keller had this thing of put have not mets in my database. Oh, geez, I haven't even met them. I'm going to put them in my database. What have not met is the business cards I collect or the conversations I have, right? So I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, my dog sits on my desk with me. We were in Smitty's restaurant and the owner came over. David and I had the Chris Brothers for 31 years. So people sometimes will recognize David. So the owner comes over and we start chatting and his name is Ernie. And by the end of the conversation, I had Ernie's name and email and cell phone, and he went into my database when I got home. Right. And I always say, when I ask for the business card, because people don't want to be inundated, right? You ever give your email address out at a store? And then you're like, holy fuck, how many emails am I going to get from this company? So I unsubscribe, right? So I always say to people, and I say it at open houses too, I'll say, you know, if you can give me, and I'll business card, blah, blah, I'll say, I promise I won't stop you. And that, you know, is, and I mean it, I'm not going to stop them. A lot of people, they just don't want to. So sources of your have not mets, and like we were saying, you know, your neighborhood or geographic farm, you can do that virtually now to do that. Sports team mailing list, you know, you can't go into the rink, but you can definitely have them all on Facebook and connect with them that way. Clubs like Sherry said, clubs and organizations, LinkedIn contacts. Like I said, I love LinkedIn contacts, Facebook, Twitter. And then if you're going to do a geographic farm, geographic farming would be knocking on doors or mailers. So anyone that mailers are expensive, you have to get it all done up. Then you have to, you know, you can spend like upwards of $400 on a mail out of one particular neighborhood. Right. So, and if you want to do some door knocking, again, do them something of value. So what I did is I ordered these 6x9 clear bags from Amazon. It's got a hole in it. Allison would she got some nice fridge magnets made up. They weren't very much money. She would put that, and it was on measurement conversion. She put that, a candy, and her business card, and it would be on their door when she came home. So of course, she didn't get their name because they weren't, and a lot of times they didn't knock on the doors. Most people weren't there. There's no cars in the driveway. But we still walked up. I used to do that years ago with open houses. I would walk all the way around where the open house was. I hate knocking on doors. So I would have an open house invitation to them. And, you know, if any friends or family would like to get in our neighborhood, I think I used to say, would you like to pick your neighbors? Would you like to pick your new neighbors? And then I had a candy and a business card. And I had in mine, I made up, I don't even know where they are, but I made up an emergency contact list as a magnet, and it's branded. And I also did grocery list with my mother still has a Caldwell Banker grocery list on her fridge from like 2009. Yeah. So anything you can get. And what's really funny is all these realtors do calendars. Do you know how many houses I've walked in and listed the house and there's an agent up on their fridge, their calendar? But that agent is not top of mind with them, right? Or they didn't keep up the contact. Yeah, feed your database. No.
I have a question, Brenda.
Yeah.
For the people that weren't home, that you left a gift, let's say you left a gift bag, would you go back and knock on their door again so you could talk to them and get their number at that rate?
I don't. Like I said, if you like door knocking, you know, you could door knock and do it, or you could drop back in a week or so and say, hey, just wanted to touch base. The thing is you drop back in a week or so, they're still not going to be home. Then you got to knock on doors after 6 o'clock. And there's just no way I would knock on people. But you know what? If you like it or you wanted to do it, it's a great idea.
Well,
We
I
used to-
was just wondering how you would follow up. Like, let's say you did do the door knocking, like the agent had the calendar on the fridge. How would they have followed up with that person to be top of mind?
Once we would pick a zone, like one of the girls on the team that was on the team, she wanted to do a route in Millwood. So we made up her 4 routes, and then every week she would go to those routes. So in other words, once a month, they were getting something from her. So what she would put in the bags afterwards would be what's happening in your neighborhood.
Okay.
You know, what are the stats in your neighborhood? So you would so every single month, and you have to keep it up a long time. It takes 7 touches for a person even to remember you, right? And when you're doing anything or talking to anybody, you only have 3 seconds to capture their attention, right? If you don't, you can see people kind of zone out when you're talking to them sometimes. So if you're going to do a geographic farm, you can't go once a year. That you have to say, this is my route. This is where I want to cover. There's a agent with Royal LePage, and Kobe has been her spot for years. Now she mail outs, but she did start with walking, and she gets a lot of business. The community influencer, that's perfect for if you want to be top of mind in your own neighborhood. When people do call me, I always say, where did you get my name? Because we want to see what is working for you. You know, and I'll tell you, it's so exciting when you'll feel like for 6, 7, 8 months, I've been doing this, I've been doing this. Then all of a sudden you'll get a phone call and you'll be like, hey, I love it. It's like golf, right? You have 10 bad swings, you hate the game, you have 1 good swing and say, yes, I love golf. You'll find the same thing with touching people. Plus,
I was just saying, I'm finding it difficult in my area because a lot of people actually don't know about my brokerage, about Keller Williams. They've never heard of Keller Williams down on the South Shore. I know it kind of sounds silly, but I'm in Lunenburg and I talked with some of the older people in the area and they're like, nope, never heard of them. They must be new. So
Yeah.
I think that's my biggest hurdle right now.
so what I would do, Jessica, is I would go about it is, let me tell you a little bit about this great new company I'm with. And then you would say, you know, I didn't even realize, because we went through that in Halifax.
Yeah.
When it came to Halifax, nobody had a clue who it was. And we would just tell them, and say like, I know, you know what? They were a long time coming to Nova Scotia. They were actually, or I would say, let me tell you a little bit about the company. And I'd say, you know, we don't know it, but they actually, did you know that they're the largest real estate company in the world? They have over 600,000 agents and the greatest artificial intelligence that I've ever worked with. So I'd love to bring you in, put your name in it, this, that, just something like that, just educate them on who it is.
Okay.
Keller Williams, it's usually between Keller Williams and Remax.
Yeah.
So some years Keller Williams beats them, some years Remax. Like if you ever went on Keller Williams International, or, you know, how many agents does KW have? It's, yeah. And what I really like about KW and I will say to people like, you know, this is a company where relationships matter to us. You know, our culture is to share, care, and learn. So when you're working in an environment like that, you know, you like to go out and talk to people. Yeah. Classify your types. Again, make them, are they buyer? Are they seller? Investment? And then how hot is the lead? If you get a hot lead that comes in, or you pick up the phone and you say, hey, did you know blah, blah, blah. And they say, really? You know what? I am thinking of selling, you know, that you want to get in front of them as quick as you can. So make an appointment right there and close on the phone, right? And I always say to people, you know, when people first call me, sometimes we're, 8 to 12 months out. You know, it's always good to know what's going on. I'll say, yeah. Or if it's for selling, I'll say, you know what? It's always good to know the value of home. There's no obligation. You know, what day would be a good day that I could come over and go through things and give you an evaluation of the house. Sometimes they'll just want to talk with the phone, but I will do a nice evaluation. I'll send it over. Yeah. You can also, when I used to do evaluations for people, I would email it out, then I would put it in a brown envelope and I would take it to their house. And at that point I did knock on the door and I would say, hey, I'm Brenda Kay. You came to my website looking for a market analysis. Here it is. You know, when are you thinking of selling, or are you seriously thinking of selling? And I've gotten listings that way too. So it's how, you know, because you have to react. There are so many multiple websites out there now. A lot of them are fueled by paid ads. You know, I had one girlfriend, Kelly, that she wanted to look at some real estate. So she signed into one of those sites. And of course, the next day she forgot. So she just, whatever site come up, she put her email in again. And every time she would look, she'd do that. And then, so probably she's now registered on probably 4 or 5 sites. She's got 4 or 5 agents calling her, emailing her. You know, she found it really, really annoying to do that. So, but if somebody comes in through your site or your Facebook or whatever, you know, if you say to them, well, geez, you're thinking of buying, let me tell you about the market right now. Or send them a message through Messenger and say, you know, with all your friends in that, hey, are you guys curious about what's really happening in the market? And if they say yes, that's when you say, well, it's crazy right now. Last week there was 147 sales and the average price of a list was 44,000. Can you believe it? That's a great texting conversation. People love to talk real estate. When you put them in, make sure you classify them. So I have one called, actually I have a group called Have Not Mets. Okay, so when I look at anybody in that group, I know that they came to me in a business card or I met them in a restaurant. Well, they usually all have a note by them anyways. So those are my have not mets. My peers and colleagues. So everyone I used to do within the meat business, they were all put in there, right? All my friends that are in another business, but they're what I call like my professional friends. You know, I don't hang around with them. I know them because of business. I put them in. Then I put I have past clients, and then I have my friends and family. So I've got 4 groups in mind. There is a way, I don't know how to do it. There is a way in Facebook to make that. Bree, you know how to do that, don't you?
What was that?
You know how to make groups in Facebook, don't you? Like past clients, friends, family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's part of the Kirby Chan. I don't know how to do it. I haven't done it yet. My database is done like that. Yeah. So what do you send to them? So now you've got them. There used to be a program called 8x8 for buyers, 8x8 for sellers. And what that was is 8 touches in 8 weeks. So you would put them on the plan. The first one was a phone call to acknowledge it. So say I met somebody at open house, excuse me, I met someone at open house. So I call them the next morning and I leave them a message. The following week, I would mail them something out. The following week, I'd send something else email. The following week, I'd make a phone call. So I had all different, and you can do it. Go into Smart Plans and look and see. So I would do the 8x8. So they would get, and I personalized everything. And then I put them on my monthly newsletter plan. If you do the community influencer, you will they will teach you how to build a newsletter. Yeah.
Brenda, you've spoken a couple times about the community influencer. Is that a course? What is that exactly?
That is, you can go on Facebook
Okay.
and just search community influencer.
Okay.
Yeah. And you pay for it, there's no kidding, no question. You have to invest some time and money, even if it's only $25 for BombBomb. You need to invest some time and money into your business to make it work and some commitment. Yeah. So just go on Facebook. One of the girls in our team really, really likes it. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. You can go to local businesses in your neighborhood and say, hey, can I put out your specials on my Facebook page? Can I do this? Can I do that? Right? That's one of the things that Linda's now doing in her neighborhood. So I told her, like, pick 4 businesses and then keep in touch with them. So if you go, like Allison, every time she's somewhere, she takes a picture. Like, we all love Allison. She loves to eat out. And she'll take a picture, say where she's at, and she'll say, oh my God, it's so good. This is the first time I tried it, blah, blah, blah. And then she tags the restaurant. It's great. Because then the restaurant shares it. Because she's given it a great review, right? And it's not just a Google review. She's put it out on her Instagram and she tags them. And you, like I said, you can pick one business. You give them a call, pick a business that might have in your neighborhood that might have weekly specials, right? So I suggested to Linda that she goes into a family meat business that I know and talk to them, which I believe she did it yesterday. And so now Holly will email Linda their specials every week. And Linda will put that out, right? You guys are super quiet. So that's on page 29. So a 33 touch, again, it tells you Gary Keller did a lot of research. So he had said that you need 33 touches to people to be top of mind. And there's nothing worse than say me, if I go, and this does happen, because I years ago was learning along with everybody else. I sold a person into a house. There was this one on Union Court, and I remember it. It was a young couple, and I sold them into it. I had them on my 33 touch, but I kind of set and forget. I did back then, not knowing the difference. And then about 6 years after they were living there, I saw it for sale by Ian. So you can imagine, I was like, really? Like, what a downer. It was my fault because I did not keep in contact with him like I should have. Yes, they met Ian at an open house. And I'm proficient at scooping buyers at open houses too. But if I had been more on top of my game, they would have said to Ian, yeah, we definitely like, we've got Brenda Kay. Right, because I would have been touching them for, so like I said, you'll learn every day. This was years ago, but I learned the hard way. So that's disappointing. So go into command and look at the smart plans. There's smart plans in there from people all over the world that you can store things. Allison has a Facebook one, command touch. I don't know what it is or what she does, but it's all set up. Talk to Erin. She's amazing at the office. So campaigns are meant to offer value to your contacts. So like I've said to you, market stats, do last week's number. You can go online, free newsletters, or, you know, there's just so many things you could do. I used to do brochures. These brochures, there was a trifold, because remember, there wasn't all this electronics when I started. And some of the companies that I knew from my previous work, like Chater's Meats down on Wise Road, you know, I would go see George. I bought a little plastic case, go see George every month, and he'd fill my flyers up for me that, you know, people could take. My newsletters, I used to do up a newsletter, and I would drive to businesses all over Burnside. And I would say, can I put this newsletter on your table? There's lots of ways to do it. I can't remember where I got the newsletter, but it was a template or something. And my newsletters aren't all about real estate. You know, they have a recipe in them, and they have, you know, do you know how Valentine's Day started? You know, that was the one that we started, the one that went out in February. Does anyone have any questions?
Other than, you said that you had to invest money into your business. Let's say that COVID has really slapped you hard and you are out of money. So it's just going to take longer at that point, right?
That's when you do things like, you know, you do up a newsletter, you do up some information, and you drop it around to businesses.
Yeah.
Because all you need is time and paper.
Yeah.
Right. I was in the same position for a long time. I didn't have any money, but so
I have to work a part-time job right now to pay the bills.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So the more like I said, the more information. So it's be kind of hard for you to knock on doors because you're working. So you're working part-time?
I have to work part-time just to pay the bills, because it took me about $6,000 just to get here, and that was all the money I had left. And
yeah,
I figured I'd hope at least get just one was all I was hoping for, you know what I mean, the first month, just to get the creditors to go away. But I'm like at 2 months now, and creditors aren't going away.
No. So you're just gonna have to kind of double down your efforts.
Yeah.
You know,
I've been putting in like working till 10, 11 o'clock at night, you know what I mean? So
yeah. It, like I said, it's to be really successful and go, like I right now in the spring market, I'm working till 10 or 11 every night. It's, you know, because I know it's the spring market. When I didn't have the clients or was just starting, I still would probably stay up till 10 or 11 at night. I would Google stuff, how to do this, how can I find this, what can I make? It was just nonstop. I can't even imagine what I would have done if I had Facebook back then.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then stay top of mind with touch campaigns, you know, Susie set and forget. The other thing that I did too, is I went through every contact in my phone. And I had a text that I copied and paste, you know, because I've got people on my phone, I don't even know who they are, right? And depending on what they do, that becomes their last name. I have Daryl Painter, I have Adam Electrician. So, you know, you even forget where you met them. So I used to call, or, you know, now I would text and say, hey, you know, you're in my phone and I just wanted to touch base with you. I can't remember where we met. You know, let's retouch, or let's read whatever word I used. I can't remember. Yeah, and then, like I said, then smart plans. I can't say enough about smart plans. Most of the time when if you're talking to people, whether you're doing it by text or email or a messenger, you know, people like when somebody reaches out to them and they seem genuinely interested in them. So when you reach out, and again, that's why I was saying with, Jennifer must be gone. And that's why I was saying to Jennifer, like, just throw it a mass text to 200 people. You're not going to build your business that way. It's not going to work. It has to be one-on-one. Yeah. Rishen, he had his mother's database there for a while. And then you're using your Facebook right now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and, you know, write down what you've accomplished each day. And then if there's an agent in the office that you want to reach out to, or you want to connect with, or, you know, if you've got any questions, I don't mind answering any questions. I can't give any advice. I'm not the broker, but if you have a general question, I'm fine. But when you go on your Instagram, everyone got Instagram? Go on your Instagram and put in the hashtag real estate. Oh, that's another thing I used to do, is I would hashtag Google alerts. I would go real estate Halifax for a Google alert. I would go, right now I have home maintenance. That's my Google alert, because I'm working on 52 home maintenance tips, right? Wow, you guys are quiet.
I've been watching your 30 tips for 30 days that you've been putting in.
Mm.
I like those. I think those
Yeah.
that's good value.
Yeah, just short and sweet.
Yeah.
That's all they are. If you're gonna do videos, you know, then they can be, I always say to my guys, mine were so bad at first. I mean, they were so bad. And they were shot on a little camera that I got at Costco. And unfortunately, with computers drinking red wine over the years, I've lost a lot of my stuff from my own old thing when I had to change computers or buy a new computer. But there's whatever tip you want to put out there. There's so much information. Don't be afraid to go live. You know, if you're out somewhere or you're doing something, do a little live video out there about if you see something in the city, or take a video of it and then put it out on your Instagram. I always say, you know, don't recreate the wheel when you can steal, right? There's no need to. You go on, you start seeing things that are, somebody in Montana has a hashtag real estate. Well, number one, you're not going to follow them. Number two, they don't know who you are. So to put your spin on it. So that's what I say, I'm not telling you to plagiarize anything. I'll read it and go, oh, that's interesting. Then I'll Google it and I'll find out more information. I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And then I'll put a post out. So it's just giving me ideas, it's just expanding my knowledge, and then I can share it with. Another thing I did too is people that I know, there's a painting company. I haven't done this one yet, but I will get to it. There's a painting company, and I know the guy, and I said to Dennis, I called him up and I said, hey, Dennis, can you give me 10 painting tips if you're painting yourself? And he goes, sure. So he gave me 10 painting tips. So how many little videos can I do with those 10 painting tips, right? And stories are one of the number one things out there on Instagram. So if on your Instagram, if you put highlights down below and then put your stories in those highlights, people can go back and watch your stories. And that's something that I don't know what I've got on for stories. Anybody that's not following me on Instagram, feel free to follow me. And I think I was working on some new highlights. I know I have Miss Frankie. That's my one highlight that I have. Yeah. Personal stuff on Facebook. you know, Allison's been really pushing me outside my comfort zone when it comes to that. And, you know, I'm just not one for doing that. And she does push. Yeah. The other thing that you can do if you're not on a team and you want to, you know, build your business or do everything on this Ignite course is to pick a person in the group and be their accountability partner. Okay. So we have in our group, we all empower each other and we are all accountable to each other. You know, so every Tuesday, we all, even myself, we account for what we've done and what we've accomplished and what was our challenge for the week. So pick a partner and say, why don't we talk every Wednesday, or why don't we talk every Thursday and say, you know, did you get your database in? You know, what did you find were your challenges? What did you find were your wins? And having an accountability partner will. So when I took Ignite, Sandra Chason was my accountability partner. And then of course I was hers. And we talked to each other every night at around 8:30. We would again call, maybe we texted, no, not very much. And say, did you get calls in? Did you get anyone in your database? Did you blah, blah, blah. So the thing with me is I did Ignite 2 years after I got into real estate. So I had built up a database with some things. Sandra, she left KW. She lives in South End, Halifax. She wanted a company that she could walk to work. So she works for Domus now. And she started riding again. So she used to ride when she was younger. So she joined the Bengals in Halifax, that club over there, the riding club. She has gotten so much business from that riding club. It's unbelievable. Yeah. So definitely if there's any clubs or associations or anything that you can join, you know, look at it. Like out here, like if I was to think, well, what could I join out here? Well, okay, well, I'm going to join the Porters Lake family group, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what it's called, right? Great group to join.
Yeah. Well, I do something similar too with my rowing on Lake Bannock. Every one of the athletes and coaches, since like Brenda said, everyone loves talking about real estate. They keep asking me, why is it so crazy? Why is it so hot? What advice do you have if I want to sell or buy? And I also left my business card and like marketing all over like the boathouse and club, just so, you know, if someone's like doing something, they'll come across it. And yeah. Great networking there if you do have a sport association.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect for it. And Bree, and I know you're doing this because it's the way we do things, asking for their business cards and putting them in your command, right, Bree?
Yeah. And we get like club emails and everyone's like CC'd on the email. So I went into the emails and was like, oh, there's your email. Oh, there's your email. Oh, there's your email.
Yeah.
Those free emails.
The question about emails, I have what I term my collection from all my past lives of different business emails and contacts. Mm-hmm. And in Command, when you're inputting all this data, do they do a verification of the email to make sure it's valid at any point? Is that part of what the system offers?
That would be an Aaron question.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't know. All I did was export everybody onto a CSV file and then put them in Command.
Fair.
That's how I did it. And then I had to go in, which was painful, and tag every one of them. So you can, I think now if you call Renee or Aaron, I think there's a way to group it so you can tag them, because at the time when I switched over, I had 1,400 people in my database and there's no way I was gonna give every one of them a tag. Here's the thing, when you listen to trainers like Richard Robbins, you know, or Tom Ferry, Tom Ferry's the top real estate coach. I think he's the biggest one in the world. You know, you don't need a huge database. If you can work, you can do your bit. Now, this is Richard Robbins training, is like you can have 250 people in your database and you can build $100,000 business off that. You put the right touches in place and the right communication. You know, like I said, on my newsletter, every newsletter that goes out, it has a recipe on it. You know, Valentine's month, like, or February, it had some sort of chocolate molten romance cake or something it was called. Like, I don't even remember. Yeah. So there's all kinds of different ways you can touch them. And the more you touch them, so here's what you're trying to accomplish. And you're building your database, is you're trying to say to yourself, now, how do I touch them? How do I keep on track? What smart plan do I use? Because when John is at a party on Saturday night at 7 o'clock and someone mentions real estate, he goes, oh yeah, I get these great emails from Brenda Kay. You know, a lot of, or hey, this one, you know, she's got a lot on Instagram, I follow her. That's what you're trying to do. So you build it and then you work it. Any questions?
Well, I'm going to ask one thing, and it's a little off topic. Did you, my name is Lynn, and I'm
Hi,
from
Lynn.
Keller Williams in Moncton.
Oh, hi.
And I had just heard you talk about joining a group. Again, this is quite off topic. Are you from the Porters Lake area?
Yes. Well, I'm
Are
not from here, but I live here now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So are you familiar with the surname Manette?
Yes.
That's my family.
Oh, get out of here. Aren't they East Chesapeake?
Yeah, oh yeah, all of it. East, Head, North. Yeah, all of it. Manette's Nursery, that's my
Yeah.
uncle. That's my
Okay.
uncle. Yeah,
Down off Station Road.
that's exactly it. My father's family's from there, and I have them all over the place, even up as far as, Grand Desert and whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I know the whole area. I
Yeah.
was in Cole Harbor we were in Cole Harbor for 29 years because we had our retail stores that we had
Right.
to stay in the city for.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, and like I said, make up a little pamphlet of some sort and go to people in your neighborhood that you know and say, you know, can I put right now, market stats are so hot right now because of what's going on, you know. You can do, you know, did you know this happened this week? You know, put out a text. Like we have a listing that when it comes out, everyone's going to see it was $220,000 over asking. Right? So once it's firm, that makes a great Instagram post. Yeah. Isn't
I
this
do a
market-
quick, I do a little snapshot, on my computer, and I email that out to my clients. And
Yeah.
I've had 2 or 3 listings just from that.
Yeah. 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 If you give them information or things. Yes, Anya?
I do kind of have a question that's been kind of running through my mind the last little bit as we've been talking about reaching out to people and building up our database. And that's in regards to Castle.
To what?
And I have a banking background. Castle is the Canadian anti-spamming legislation.
Okay.
And it's something I'm really paranoid about because it's huge in banking. Like it's a big deal.
Okay.
So, when you're reaching out, is this something we need to be cautious of, or
I'm sorry. I
is
don't quite,
something you've encountered?
what is it that you're asking me? What did I encounter?
No, have you encountered anybody coming back to you and saying like, you don't have my permission or something like that? Because you do get these emails. It's almost a lot of emails that we get.
Yeah.
And I know with my background, we had to get the permission, anybody, even if it was a Facebook friend or whatever,
Yeah.
before we could even reach out to them in regards to financial services.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's an issue in real estate as well.
No.
Okay.
No.
Sonia, I can actually
have to
speak
watch
to that a little bit. I used to deal with Castle a lot in my previous life. So there's 2
Mhm.
types of consent. There is express and implied. Express consent is when they say, yes, please contact me, give me this information, which is wonderful. And you log that, you make note of it. Implied is when somebody gives you their business card, there's an implied consent, almost express consent, saying it's okay for you to contact me from a business context. So they're giving you that consent when they give you the business card. They can also at any point withdraw that consent to say, I'm really not interested in getting this information. You have to obviously obey that as well. But yeah, I was interested in that too, but it's, yeah,
Yeah,
we're covered
Yeah.
as long as it's, if they give you a business card, you're definitely covered.
Yeah.
And
perfect.
you do
And
just
like I
have to
said,
watch, you do just have to watch like the do not call list. That's kind of
Right.
like the main thing that they, you know, refer to us, is just make sure that
Yeah.
if you're like cold calling or anything, but if they got a lead, like you're fine. If you captured their information because they put it into something, like you're good. Like you just kind of have to follow those little.
yeah. And I'm gonna be upfront, I don't look at the do not call list. Because most people that I would say 99.9% of the people that I enter into my database, I've already asked them.
Yeah, it's just for more like cold calling or like kind of cold emailing, I guess. Yeah.
Mhm.
Your
Okay.
warm, your warm sphere is really to, you can get new ones right now through social media. I mean, years ago, the agents would literally pick up the phone book and make and dial numbers to do it.
Mhm.
So we've got so much opportunity now with the social media. And like I said, if I ask for someone, if I ask their business card, I say right to them right there, do you mind if I put you in my database? You know, I had one lady one time, she went on my website. I don't know what she signed up for. But whatever she did, she entered into, so she started getting newsletters. And then she sent me like in all capitals, who are you? Who gave you permission to send me this stuff? Get me off, like all in big caps. And I'm thinking, it was a stupid bitch. You put your own name in there. But I just took her off my list, right? It's not a big deal. Yeah, they can unsubscribe from it too. You know, if they don't like it. So no, I'm all about, like I said, I'm all about just that quick little, hey, there's some great newsletters. And like I said before, I'm not kidding. I do tell people, hey, look, I'm not going to stalk you in your email or anything. I just like to send you some information now and then. I'm so big on permission that when Command came out, and this actually, like I said, the neighborhood system didn't work. This is a great tool. I'm going to find out if they've got it working yet. So what I did is I got on the phone right away with past clients, and I said, say it was, well, I know one, what's his name? Paul, and he's a city inspector. Anyways, Paul was a client. Him and his wife bought it home from me a few years ago. But I was calling people and saying, hey, we got this great new feature. It's a live feed of everything that's happened in your neighborhood. You can just go in and click, you know, hey, Paul, can I set you up for that? And the reason Paul stands out in my mind is because he said, you know, Brenda, he said, honestly, no, I get so many emails now that I just don't want anymore. And I said, okay, all right, well, we'll keep in touch. Anytime you get something new you can offer people, that's when you pick up the phone and you text or you know, so you guys are all like, where you're new, talk to, again, I don't know if the neighborhood thing is working, but think of something you can give out or let them know, or would you like to be on the, you know, on the weekly market stats? The market's crazy. Are you interested in following it? There's all kinds of different things you could do. Like I said, when you're out, I was at Chicken Burger one day, and I was talking to the manager about something that Alexandra at that time on my team had wanted to do. And I said, anyone in your world, you know, that's selling? And she said, oh yeah, she goes, I'm gonna be selling in a couple months. I said, there you go. Now you got a realtor. And we just kind of laughed, and I sold her house. Yeah. Now, don't do this. There also was an agent that joined our company who is gone now. And wherever she went, she would get in front of people. So I get this phone call from a very good friend of mine and said, last night, him and his wife were in a movie. And you know, when the lights are still on, the movie hadn't started. And he said, Alan said, we didn't even know her, this real estate agent. She come down, she's sitting in the chair, and she turns around, she starts like talking to us about real estate, and are we interested in selling? Are we buying this or that? And he goes, Jesus, I was at a movie with my wife. So some people are overly, you know.
And that's awkward and inappropriate.
It's very inappropriate. Very
Like a
inappropriate.
dinner party, okay, if it comes up,
Yeah.
right? Like a I don't know, something more social where people are intended to interact. Okay.
Yeah.
But a movie is a pretty, yeah, that's, it's like talking in the lobby of the doctor's office. So
Yeah.
what you in for?
Yeah. You know, and if they ask, you know, if I strike up a conversation with somebody, like I said, I always ask, I'm Bree can attest to this. I very rarely have a business card in my purse. I forget, right? I don't know where my purse is. I don't even know if I have one right now, right? But then again, I always want theirs. Yeah, same with when somebody says, oh, my friend is thinking of selling. Oh, really? Okay. What's your friend's name and number? Because if they say, oh, I'll give your name and number to my friend. Yeah, you'll probably never hear from that friend. Right? Just ask nicely. So yeah, so building your business takes a long time. It's worth it. And don't think you have to have a great big giant database to earn a living. 250 in your database. If you're monitoring them and keeping in touch with them and sending the right information, that's all you need. They're going to refer you. People that don't know you, you're going to be using your Instagram and if anyone comments on your Facebook or your Instagram, you know, or you can go through Facebook and make conversation with somebody. If you get them in a conversation, say, hey, can I put you in the database? So there's all kinds of avenues. Any questions? There's no sound. No sound. Lynn, are you trying to say something to me?
I have one
I
more
think Lynn's
question.
talking on her phone, to somebody else.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. Sorry, Sonia.
That's okay, no worries. When I was going through our mission sheet this morning, there's e-edge on there. When I clicked on the play, but the link didn't work. So can you maybe talk about that a little bit?
e-edge is the system that we had prior to Command. So
Okay.
I use e-edge. I've been in it for 12 years and I'm comfortable with it. It's kind of like a safety thing. I should try to be working more out of Command, but again, it just scares me a little bit, you know. So slowly but surely I am changing to Command. Command does have some other features that e-edge doesn't have, but when I referred to the 8x8 or the 33 touch, they were in e-edge. They were already done for us.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can, like I said, you can find a lot on, if you go on Command and Smart Pages. Are you guys are you watching the Command videos, going to training in that with it?
Yeah, I've been in all over those videos and the training. Whenever
I've been going to YouTube, like to the old trainings.
Yeah, you can. When I first got to Keller Williams, because like I said, the company I was with for 2 years before that, I didn't get any training. I got thrown out there and said, go find business, figure it out. You did sales. And I don't consider myself a salesman. If anyone calls me a salesman, I'm not a salesman. I'm a customer service professional. I trade real estate on behalf of my clients.
I'm with you, Brenda. I'm not going to push you into a sale. If you tell me no, I'm out.
Yeah. I really do not see the role of a realtor as a salesperson. Bree knows I'm really quick to correct anybody if they call me a salesperson. I'm not. We're customer service professionals that excel at trading real estate on behalf of our clients. That's the mission statement of my company. So, and that's a good thing to think of is write a mission statement for your company and then, kind of stick by it. People will know. People will instantly feel your energy, even if it's through the phone or texting, right? So what I used to do, again, all these things sound silly, but they're not. I would have a mirror on my desk. So she would, like when I took bold and you had to call this. So I put a mirror on my desk. And then when I called people and we're talking to them, I could see myself. Am I smiling? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? And it really, really did help me make the phone calls a little bit more. Now, like I said, now it's texting and stuff, so you don't have to do that too much. So there's all kinds of little tricks. if you want to have, like I said, when I email people, when I'm making my phone calls, I always have what I'm going to say in front of me. Right? I don't just, if you just kind of go off, like I told you guys about the COVID script today. So this script is sitting right here. And I'm on the phone and I'm doing the script to stay on point. Right? So if you're going to write out what you want to say, and even if you're going to do what I used to do in Instagram or Facebook, and I still do, is I make the note of whatever I want to say. I save it in notes. I do copy paste. And then at the start of it, I put, hey, Stephen and Lisa, whoever I'm talking to, copy paste, and boom, it goes out to them. Yeah. And that one of the phrases that I really like to get people to respond back is, did you know? Right? Did you know we're in the middle of a historic real estate market in Halifax? No, there's all kinds of ways you can say, you know, did you know this or did you know that? Yeah. Would you like to know? That's it. Any more questions?
The recordings, they are sent to us through email, or are they loaded somewhere?
Which ones? The
This
command?
is being recorded right now, so in case I want to review it.
Oh, I believe they're going on our YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they not?
I think I saw the one for Monday on there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to know how to access them. My daughter is joining me as my assistant, so I want her to learn this stuff too.
Oh, nice. Nice.
She
How long-
surprised me. I put a job offer up on LinkedIn on the weekend, and she asked me the details, and I told her, and she asked me if I would hire her. And she's quitting her job at Manulife to come work with me.
Good for
Like, blew
her.
me away, so that she wants to do this, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in the business, Joanne?
Just got my license in February, but I come from a publishing background. I published The Neighbors of Halifax South, Fall River Living, and Bedford Living.
Oh, wow. You got some database.
I do, and I'm still doing that. And I have a dog business as well. That's another 3,500 clients, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's perfect. Like I said, when you're talking to somebody, hey, you know, can I add you too?
Yeah, and it will take me a long time to cover my whole database, but I did do a smart plan I'm doing 500 people at a time to let them know I'm closing Roaming Rovers the end of June, and that this will be my full-time gig. So I'm already getting some of my clients talking to me about some of that. And a lot of my clients have already come on board with some sales, and listings
Good.
are coming and stuff. So yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks. Yeah, the dog clients will be more beneficial than anything else because it's like we're family. So
Absolutely. Yeah. If I trust you with my dog, I trust you.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Question, Brenda. Just kind of a comment on top of Rachel and Joanne's. So I believe that all of these videos get uploaded to our YouTube page. That's where I learned about like command designs. So I'm going to get into command more so now. So, and Phil and I will be forming a team. So I think I'm going to watch the videos on YouTube first, try to self-teach myself, then show up for the sessions so that any issues I'm having, then I can ask those questions. I found it really worked out well for me for the design. So I think all of the trainings that they do get posted on the YouTube channel. So
they do. And we didn't have that type of system when I started, but we did have a video section from people in the States. Brad, I can't remember his name. There's another one Glenn, I can't remember Glenn's name, but anyways, there were a lot of videos on the eEdge site is what they called it at the time. I literally would sit there for hours watching them. And you know, I used to say to myself, because like I said, I always made sure I worked 8 hours. I always worked a minimum of 8 hours a day, Monday to Friday. So there were times when I was starting my business or like 2 years into the business, you know, and I was busy at the 2-year mark, you know, I had done well, but I had never had all this opportunity before. and I would sit for hours and watch those videos. And one of the videos I watched is a line I got off it. I still use, my team uses it. And when we have buyers, we say, we are a customer service professional, we are your advocates and your protectors. So consultation is, we're your consultant. We're here for you with advocate. We're going to advocate for you and protect you. I watched that in a video like, what would have been 2010, so 11 years ago. And it's one line. You watch a video, here's what I tell people, you watch a video when I go to places. If I come out with one aha, I'm happy I went, right? My team has to watch a video every week and talk about it at the weekly meeting. Bree, I know he's phenomenal at watching videos. Hey, Bree, you've sat there sometimes for 2-3 hours. It's all part of the learning curve.
Some videos are very long, but they're very informative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some really good people out there, Google Tom Ferry, Google Richard Robbins, don't join. You have to join. Yeah. There's so much.
I find with videos, I love them because I can rewind, because I can get myself distracted easily. Yeah. So I'm watching it and all of a sudden I'll start daydreaming. And because I've heard one statement and I start thinking about something else. And then if I can rewind and then hear again what I've just drifted off and missed, then I get it better. So that's why I love it when things are recorded. So then I can absorb it better, because I'm ADHD, I guess, do you know what I mean? I just get myself distracted on the other things. So.
Oh my God, Joanne, I'm like squirrel. Yeah. All the time. Bree knows that.
Yeah. That's me.
I just watched a video the other day because I was trying to figure out how to kind of add a little more like value, I guess, to my website instead of just being like an about me page and stuff. And I added the CMA, like the quick CMA, and then it captures people's information. So that, like, I just watched a video on how to do it, which I found super helpful. And it wasn't even like somebody from our KW, it was just like a KW agent. Yeah. I was able to like add the whole page by just watching.
Rachel, videos. Can you share that pretty please? Got the link?
I'll have to go find it, but yeah, if you just type into Google, like how to put a CMA into your KW site, it should come out. Yeah. But it was great because I was able to do it without having to, bug Aaron.
Yeah. There's what I liked about Keller Williams. So when I was with Caldwell Bankers, and I'll have to wrap this up. When I was with Caldwell Bankers and I went to a convention, and it was everybody that spoke. Number one, they weren't an agent. Number two, they were hawking their product. I was completely turned off, right? I knew agent, I had no money. I barely got to the convention. I probably ate once a day when I was there. So then when I went to KW, Jerry Murphy said to Sandra Chason and I, are you going to family reunion? This was 3 days before it was starting. And we said, yeah, no, and I said to him, this is what I experienced. So at the very last minute, Sandra and I bought tickets, got in the plane. Actually, Rachel, we crashed into your mother's room. She was really good to let us in, because Jerry had said to me, if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back, guaranteed. You're gonna like it. Unbelievable. The thing I like about Keller Williams, it's all about share, care, and learn, and it's always the agents in KW that's teaching you. We're not trying to sell you anything. We have nothing to sell, So watching the videos from our own office is, I can't even tell you how much value that is, that you say, okay, every day I'm going to sit and watch one video. Yep, Jamie?
Yeah, thank you. How hard is it to get onto a team, and what are you looking for if I was going to try to sell myself to somebody to get onto a team?
That is a conversation that you want to have with Laura Lee.
Who's Laura Lee? I'm in New Brunswick, so I feel like a lot of this is not maybe as relevant to me, even though a lot of it is online and I can access it.
Yeah, it's everything that we've done here today is relevant to any realtor in any city in Canada.
Who's Laura Lee, though?
Laura Lee is, I didn't know you were in Moncton. That's our team leader. Who's your team leader at the KW? And is it, oh God, what's
Well, all that comes to mind for me is Austin Drisdale.
Austin?
or-
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's the owner.
Okay. Call Austin and see who's the team leader. Every KW has a team leader. The
Oh, they've
team
got-
leader,
They've got 4 or 5 teams at our office.
no, I'm not talking about real estate agent teams.
Okay.
They're called team leaders. So
Right.
every KW office has a team leader, and their position is to recruit new talent into the business and to
Right.
help the current talent that's there. So
Right.
if someone in Dartmouth would say to me, what are teams about? You know, what should I ask? You know, what are you thinking? I say, go see this person. So guaranteed in the New Brunswick office, there is somebody there that's in charge of recruiting, retaining.
Brenda, I don't mean to
Technically-
interrupt. I'm from New Brunswick as well. We're currently looking for a team leader.
Okay,
So
Technic-
it's we're in the process of hiring somebody.
Technically, I've already been recruited because I'm an agent or a salesperson, right? I'm asking, how do I get on to a team? You
no, I
have
know
a-
what you're asking. No, I 100% understand.
Okay,
Yeah,
So it's-
yes, you are a new agent. So
Right.
if you don't have a recruiter, retainer in your office, like Amanda was saying, you don't have anybody right now, then go to the broker and
and
say,
say, I want to be put on a team.
you just, tell me a little bit about the teams and what do you think? And they're gonna sit down and talk to you about the different teams. So like if you went into, like for instance, Laura Lee, if you go to Laura Lee in Dartmouth and you say, I'm new, I'm thinking I want to get on a team, what do you think? Can you give me some advice? Laura Lee's gonna sit you down. She's gonna tell you who the different teams are in the office, who's looking to grow their team,
Okay.
what the teams offer.
I thought you pretty much had to, give them a curriculum vitae and interview with their team leader, the rainmaker.
The
And
rainmaker, they call us. So yes, but they'll tell you which one. So if you were to go to Laura Lee in our office, she
Okay.
would not say, go see Brenda Kay. Because she knows my team is not growing, it's full.
Right.
And even with Brianna's, or even with Brishen's mom on the team, Brishen had to call me.
I want to show you something.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's pretty much what's going on. There's no teams available, and would it be hard for, say, Austin to designate somebody to become a rainmaker and make that part of, you come on to Keller Williams and you're not alone. We're going to put you on a team, because I feel like I have special skills, I have talents, but I sort of, I'm only 6 months in. I've been building houses all my life. I've been running restaurants. I've been running, I've done lots and
Yeah.
have lots of skills, but I need somebody to actually tell me, Jamie, go sit down and pick up the phone and start calling people for 2 hours and then come back.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
that
and
sounds, but that's pretty much what I need right now.
Yeah, and you
Because
can get that, if
Going
you-
on, drinking from the fire hose and
right. If you watch Command or you watch a lot of those videos, or even what I'm saying here today, if you've got that kind of background, you must have a huge Rolodex, right?
I do.
So get it out,
Yeah.
get it out, start calling them.
And making purposeful, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, and a rainmaker, you can't go to somebody and say, you need to be a rainmaker. Like, you've got to be, like I said, I chose to become, I had so much business going on. I could not service the clients. I needed another agent. That agent had been in the business already for 8 years, right? Like there's, a few people on the team that have been in the business a long time.
Well, I get it. You're like a franchise inside of the franchise. You're like a boutique, a satellite boutique, but you still hold a space inside the franchise. I get it. I just would be nice to be able to break into one of those cliques.
Well, I think if you have, and again, go talk to Austin and see what he says, but if you
Right.
watch the videos, you know, and you put together a plan for yourself, and like I said, the Ignite, you know, like with everything that you've learned here with Ignite. So what I would do is after I finish my Ignite class, whatever I learned that day, because I hadn't, you know, I didn't have a bunch of appointments. So then I would sit and implement what I learned that day, and I would sit and watch videos, and I would sit and watch this, you know. And so not so, the team's not so much about like giving, you know, giving business or anything like that. It's, you know, it's having that person with the experience and that's guiding us. So you know, I see what you're saying there. Yeah. And there's nobody in New Brunswick that wants to add to their team?
I honestly, I didn't know. All I had to do was go talk to a team leader. And as Amanda said, we don't have a team leader. And I was planning on, you know, sort of after the weekend, but I'm quarantining right now.
Oh, okay.
Going in and talking to Austin and seeing about all of that.
Yeah, I would talk to Austin. Every company gets a productivity, they pick an agent to be a productivity coach. As a matter of fact, I told you guys about Alexandra moving to Ottawa. She's only been there 3 years. She's the productivity coach now in their office. Excuse me, Jamie Green is the productivity coach in our office. So you can go, you meet, excuse me, I'm sorry, you go meet with Jamie once a week. There's the person that's doing what I do with my team. You know, to hold
And
you
most of
accountable.
people are doing Zoom meetings, so you don't have to worry about isolating. You can do a Zoom meeting with
Do a
them.
Zoom.
Like
Yep.
Erin, I know, has a calendar and I can go look, see when she's available.
That's right. Yeah, but like I said, well, back in the day, I had CDs in my car. I listened to Diana Kokoska. Every time I got in my car, I would put the CDs in. Right now, there's podcasts. The podcasts out there are amazing. There's even KW podcasts. So it was just, yeah. And the big thing here, and then I'll let everybody go because it's 11:58. You know, and I tell my team this, you know, you're going to choose to do as much business as you choose. You're going to choose to do as little business as you choose. Everything is in your mindset and your commitment to it. Right? If you've never been self-employed and you're not, remember like I said with Ed, what are you doing? It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm walking my dog in Shuby. Well, why are you calling me whining that your business is down? You're walking your dog at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So it's a commitment you make to yourself. That's who you're accountable to, is yourself. There's an abundance of learning tools at KW. Like it's huge. But yeah, Jamie, go talk to Austin and see what he's got going on. Okay. All right, guys. See you later.
Thank you, Brenda.
Yeah.
Excellent session.
Bye.